Hello everyone, I'm Sir James coming at you guys with another custom lightsaber review. This time we're going to be taking a look at Darth Malgus' lightsaber from Star Wars The Old Republic. Or is it Knights of the Old Republic? I always feel like I'm getting those mixed around. But is the Star Wars MMO RPG that you guys may have played yourself, recently got into, or just have yet to try out, which highly recommend you checking out. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this hilt. Now this one here is made by TXQ, and this one was actually obtained through Vaders Sabers. It's actually a new site that I'm trying out because you guys always like options presented to you. Some of you may prefer a particular site, others like to buy sabers from variations. So just in case if one doesn't have what you're looking for, maybe this other site you want to try out. And so Vaders Sabers might be an option for you. Now let's go ahead and give you again a closer look at this hilt, because Darth Malgus has a very interesting looking lightsaber, especially with this upper half here. Very cool, very menacing look to it for sure. Now just in case if you are not a fan of this one, there's actually an alternative option for you as well, which we'll dive into in just a moment. So again, this is your upper emitter section. Here of course is where your blade will go. This is not a button of any kind. The actual control box for this is going to be located, well, on the control box. And if you need access to the internals, you're just going to go ahead and unscrew this pommel section here. This bottom half, if you will, not pommel. Inside, of course, you are going to have a USB recharge port, or you can go ahead and remove the battery and plug it in through another source that way. But removable batteries are always great, because if you're ever at a convention cosplaying and your saber dies, you could always change out that battery with another one. And of course, this one is the Profi installed. For Profi, you're just going to need to lift up the board a little bit to plug in your cable, and you are good to go. And just like that, and you slide the pieces back in and screw it all together. Now, there is another variation of the Darth Malgus lightsaber. So if you're not a fan of this one and you want something that's a little bit more, I'm trying to think of a proper word here. I can't think of the correct word that's on top of my head, but maybe you don't like the fully intact one. Maybe you want something that's a little bit more battle damaged. There is an option for that, which I happen to have right here, and this one's a pretty cool variation. So again, this is the normal intact one, nothing's wrong with it whatsoever. And then there's this variation here that is, as you can see, battle damaged. The tips of the blades are pretty much shattered and broken off. A little bit more detail on this bottom section versus the original one, where you don't really have much of a grip thing going on. But very cool. Both of these options are available on Vaders Sabers. So if you're interested, again, I'm going to have links to these in the description down below. It doesn't really matter which one I'm reviewing, because they're both pretty much exactly the same. The only real difference is just the grip section and of course the upper emitters. That's pretty much about it. So let's go ahead and insert a blade. Now, because I had recently upgraded my computer, which technically was the end of last month, I was having to reinstall the whole software and stuff for Profi, so I didn't quite get everything up to working standards. So unfortunately, this is still default out of the packaging. So whatever I'm showcasing today is what you're going to be getting out of the box as far as saber fonts go. Actually, speaking of which, for the packaging, I almost forgot. For the packaging, of course, you'll get yourself a nice little saber case here. And the inside is going to have all your necessary accessories, blade, stands, and whatnots. So you do get a stand in the box that you get to put together. The other neat thing too is because not all companies do this, and I like it when companies do, you actually do get a plaque. I don't know if it's going to show that very well. No, it doesn't like the plaque too well. It does have a plaque that says Darth Malgus on there, high-end collector's edition, and on the corner it says Vaders Sabers for that. And like I said, you also get a blade. You do get a blade plug. You get some gloves, so if you don't want any fingerprints on it, and you get a little bit of a basic instruction booklets, so you are good to go. And of course, the retention screws and hex tools and yada yada yada, you know, all the basic stuff that you guys would expect to get to ensure that you could use it, display it, and of course be able to connect your blade. So now that's all connected, let's go ahead and turn off this light here. I did plug in a little bit of a shorter blade just so I have an easier time to spin it around in this room, of course. Now this is going to have some form of gesture controls out of the box, and yes, the blade does look orange because of the camera, but again, if we go here, as you can see, it is indeed red. So gesture controls out of the box, you do have the twist off, twist on. There you go, you got to get just right. I don't think it has thrust. Nope, no thrust. And doesn't have the other functions, so it's just the as far as gesture controls, you have the twist on, twist off. There's no swing on or anything like that, so just so you guys are aware. Now when a blade is inserted too, you do have a little bit of a window light here going on just on the kind of below section of the emitter. It almost looks like a kyber crystal being displayed there, which is kind of cool. Although it's not a kyber crystal, just that's how it looks like from the camera with that point of view. Let's go ahead and cycle through. Like I said, as far as buttons go, this is going to be a 2-button activation. When you press up on the control box, that's going to be your main one, so such as turning on or activating the blade, I should say, not turning on the blade. And then the bottom one is going to be your secondary button, so if you ever need to combine any of those two elements to make things work, we'll kind of get to that. So again, and then if you hold down the bottom button and let go, just like that. Like I said, hold down the button and then just do a impact and let go, and there you go. So fun little things like that. Pressing that secondary button, so downward, it's going to be, you know, the blaster deflects. Just like that. And if you ever want to change colors, you're just going to go ahead and, I always get these mixed up. It's either up then down, so up, down. Nope, down, up. There you go. So press down, then press up. You'll go into the color edit mode, so you can go ahead and cycle through the different colors on here. Just like that. Let's go ahead and do a, let's do this one. So there you go. We have more of a pinkish color, well, through my eyes it looks pink, but I guess it's more purple. But yeah, so fun things. Cycle through some of the fonts here. By default, you do get over 20 lightsaber fonts with your saber. It doesn't matter if it's this one or if it's going to be the broken variation of the Hilt. They're pretty much identical as far as what you get in terms of packaging and saber fonts. By default, I did start with the Emperor Palpatine saber font because, well, it was red.
Dark Sith red. When only a few of us are left.
Again, that's always that fun one. Now, as far as how does it feel in the hand, the control box actually does not get in the way, which is good because, again, when you're gripping this, the control box is going to be up here. So unless if you're intending on grabbing the lightsaber up here, then the control box might get in your way in regards to your swinging, and you might, of course, scrape your fingers on the little edges here. The edges aren't like really sharp, but you could feel them for sure. They are filed down a bit, nice and rounded for sure. But definitely if you're gripping down here, or if you want to add your own grip in this bottom section, which would be very nice for sure, then you're not going to have any issues as far as swinging the hilt goes. And also too, I forgot to mention that before we even inserted the blade, you know, is this upper section where these, you know, dangerous looking pieces here, you know, are they heavy? And the answer is no. I actually was surprised that these were on the lighter side for such a dark saber. But fun stuff there. So cycling through.
Electric.
Jurassic Park. That one's the fun one. That one's the speeder bike. I don't know about you guys, but again, I love speeder bikes in Star Wars, and that sound. Oop, hit my ceiling. Yeah, that never gets old.
Teensy. Smooth.
Luke Skywalker.
And again, there are some character ones here too, besides some of the other randomness.
I am told it is the Dark Saber.
No, this is Darth Malgus' saber, but nice try.
Cal Kestis.
Oh, I went too fast. There's Anakin on there. There's Grievous.
Kenobi.
Darth Maul. Original trilogy.
Tell me, is this training?
My training? No.
Another Luke.
Oh.
And then back to where I started with Palpatine. And as you can see, the blade went back to the red color that it was on when it first started. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this light on. Now, there's a couple other things I want to mention, just kind of show really quick, because it was just kind of on my mind. Since Darth Malgus has such an interesting looking lightsaber, especially with these like blade attachments. Oh, and also too, I know some of you are going to be asking me if I attempted to bring this into Disney. As you guys know, I often bring a lot of my custom lightsabers into the Disney parks. This is a lightsaber that I'm probably not going to attempt with. And the only reason why is because, again, of this upper section here. I don't think Disney security is going to appreciate me trying to bring this in with these pieces on. Now, for those of you who are curious, can you remove these? And the answer is yes. In fact, if you look in here, there's a screw there. And there's one in there. You'll need a bit of a longer section there. Or maybe the included hex tool you have might work. Let's see. Yeah, actually the included hex tool that you have inside the box will work with removing that as well. So if for whatever reason you can't get in somewhere because of the side pieces, you can remove that. But of course, by removing those kind of defeats the purpose and look of this lightsaber. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, the one thing I was kind of thinking about with this hilt is, like, for some reason, Mortal Kombat was in my mind, and I was just thinking of a brutal way of ending someone with this hilt, like in the Star Wars universe. So imagine like a scenario, right? You are in a lightsaber combat with whoever, it doesn't matter. Just maybe it's your arch enemy or just a random person. Who cares? Point is, you're in a lightsaber combat. You end up doing something where you parried an attack. You cause your opponent to stagger. Then you deactivate your saber blade, and this is where the Mortal Kombat like finisher comes into play, where you take your hilt, jab into the person's gut. Again, mind you, this is just fantasy, not real life. Don't do this in real life because I don't want you guys to get in trouble. Unless if you're defending yourself legitimately to where you have to do this, then by all means. But again, ignore all this. But again, you parried, cause your opponent to stagger, deactivate the blade, stab right into the gut, reactivate the blade, and then swing the saber outwards either to the right or to the left to where you're nearly slicing your opponent in half. And then, boom, I don't know, I just feel like that could be some kind of Mortal Kombat finisher in some way. Maybe it is in one of the characters' moves, but I don't know, for some reason that was on my mind. So I just thought I'd share that just for the heck of it. But overall, pretty nice hilts. Now, if I had to honestly pick between, do I want the undamaged or damaged version, which one would I pick if I only had one choice? Now, personally, if you guys know me, I liked damaged hilts just because damaged and weathered hilts, I feel like just give a story. There's an element there. I could weather this up and give this its own personal story, but this one already has the story made for me. Again, there is the damaged one versus the undamaged one. And again, both of these are great. Personally, I would say the other thing, or the other difference besides the weather damaged and non-damaged, is on the damage variation. I feel like the this bottom section where you grip it is a bit better because you have the sections that are inlaid on the hilts that provide you a little bit more of a better areas to grip with, versus the other one where it's, you know, a lot more smoother, and I feel like you would have to add something just to kind of give it more of a solid grip for that area. But that's about it. Other than that, the sharp edges on this are removed the same way. Oop. Come on now. And that's pretty much about it. So what do you guys think about the Darth Malgus lightsaber, and which one do you like? Do you prefer the undamaged treatment, or do you prefer the damaged hilts? Let me know in the comment section down below which one that you like. And like I said, a link to these is in the video description down below. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next review. Thanks for watching, and have a nice weekend.